Thanks for joining another episode of my journey towards the YouTube channel. So, I'm going to share something a bit different than usual. I always focus on the technical content of security. We talk a lot, but I see a lot of posts about newcomers to security or people that is in the industry that want to open a business. And I do think it makes sense to share something that you can't find easily around. And as you see, I mean, I spent an entire life since 2018 that I'm applying sharing is caring in this small YouTube channel, trying to give you content, giving you something that is not easy to find around. And to make the content interesting, I'm sharing my personal journey on opening a business and which challenges I didn't think to have before, or at least what I learned from this experience and what I would consider before in terms of analyzing the steps to be done. So I'm UK based. I have a good understanding of the challenges also opening in Europe. So let's say that what I state in this video could be different based on the country that you are, but generally speaking, is at least food for thought for you in a brainstorming. So let's talk first what I open. I open a consulting company is based on two line of business. One is consulting, and the other one will be announced in a couple of months about the software. It will be I don't want to talk too much about it, but it will be an AI product that will be introduced properly with good explanation of the technical step. But it's almost 1 year that I'm working on it. So I'm really keen to show the result of an entire year of work. When you open a business, you think that your experience validate the the credibility and automatically get translated into your company, whatever you do. It's not the case most of the time. I give you a few example. You expect that due to the fact that you work 25 years and you have X certification in the field, well recognized in terms of professional certification, is automatically recognized as business. Business work with certification, and each country does have its own way of seeing the professional body in terms of how validate the professional journey. In UK, for example, there is the chartered exam based on which field you are. You have a professional body and you have various level to demonstrate your experience. Chartered is the top. I'm going through that process myself. It's something that you need to consider if you open the business, if you want to work, especially in tenders, to have whatever you have done recognizing the way a company needs to operate. Vision is suggestion number one. Everybody think, okay, I got CISP, I got cloud certification, I got the best in whatever topic. It's enough. It's not. You need to understand also how to certify the company when you start a startup. For sure, uh, you need to evaluate also the scope and what is the line of business that you are trying to go for. In terms of industry, if you are in IT or in OT, you have obviously various different type of certification that can be available for you, but from a company perspective, you have a process to go through. In UK, for example, there is a, the way of certifying also your consulting services. This one is a long process that include a portion of auditing in terms of insurance. If you see, for example, I certify Cyber Essential. There are various level of certification, and you need to consider also the the investment in terms of money to go through these steps because they are not cheap. At the time that you are having all line up, you think that your line of experience, considering that the industry is security, it will be easy to get a cyber insurance. Think again, due to the fact that you work in security, you are a supply chain, part of a supply chain in somehow, and this one flag in terms of risk for the insurance. So having a cyber insurance is complicated in terms also of economical terms because it's expensive. My suggestion is always go through a broker. I always suggest that independently for the fact that it is for your own company in terms of consultancy or if it's a company in general. What I do hardly suggest get a broker, explain your case and trying to find the best. There are various broker. I don't want to look like I'm sponsoring somebody else, but fortunately there are also platform online that can simplify the process, but go through that, go through multiple of that because the business investment and insurance is really high. When you go through the insurance, bit, you do have a lot to think on how much to cover. Some insurance allow to move and change quickly and upgrade, downgrade the level. Look into which type of limit you do have. For example, if you go through tenders, you do have already an idea which limit you should have. So try to avoid to recalculate all the time your premium or have misunderstanding on what your premium will look like. These one are the basics, but in somehow you do have many other consideration to be done. You need to have your own process. You do need to have your own standard. But what is surprising is your brain was is always the same, but your brain is also in terms of sold at a different rate based on which brand you is serving. So you could have been at an high level into a big consulting, but not have the same kind of expectation in economical terms when you are on your own. That is expected. It shouldn't surprise. Some company look for the stamp in terms of brand, not always for quality, but sometimes also for the fact that they use it to justify a decision or a certification process. You need to know that you are a small artisan in the field. How many years you have been in the field doesn't matter. You are still an artisan compared to big shop. And when you decide to go on your own and build something, what keep you alive, or at least what it does for me, is the passion that I have for the topic, the passion for everything I do. But it's tough. So don't. I read sometimes this post on LinkedIn talking about a quality of life that like if you are on your own, you have way better quality of life. It's not the case, and you need to consider that it means work even harder, more hours, and especially in my case, when you try to optimize more than you can, but you need to understand that you can scale only at the moment that you are sure that you are having invoices paid coming on. So that means that if you win a tender and you know that you have a work for a long time, you'll be capable to hire because you'll have a commitment. If you don't, your amount of hours are the only things that you can scale, and those are limited. And in terms of project, you need to decide, are you a company or are you just a contractor? My target is to be a company, not to be a contractor. And to build that, it's a long journey. That's the reason why I also point to have my R&D, my own product, my own experience translated into a product. Don't forget that vision is a journey, that an idea doesn't mean that it will work as well. So that's the reason why I split between two expertise that I have, one on the R&D side and one on the consulting side. But try to not sell yourself as just generic. You need to have your field, your line of expertise. In my case, is CISO and security architecture, the two topics that are you can't be in security around all. And about this statement, you need to consider that the problem is that when you participate to tender, they want you about all topics. That creates problem because few tenders allow you to apply just to one topic. So, for example, there is the operation, there is the GRC, there is forensic service. Depends on the on the type of tender, but you can have multiple topics within the tender. You can't obviously cover everything, or if you do, you could have a VC behind sponsoring you, and you started already at the top of your game. Vision, it's not the video for you, but in I'm talking to who is building from scratch something. You need to partnership, and partnership it's really tough because if you start, you need to find the right partnership in terms also of what you are partner for. For example, I'm doing CISO, makes sense to partnership on platform that I can use as a tool to provide the consultancy. I do security architecture, so the threat modeling tools can be a proper way of having. But what you want to do, you want to resell it or you want to be a partner. And don't forget that partnership come with a price. And that is what are all consideration that you don't read on the LinkedIn post. You don't even about insurance and other things. These are the practical strategies that you need to keep in mind before to open it. Fortunately, I had the experience to think about it before. Insurance, I wasn't expecting to have so many difficulties, but at the end, I figured out and I made it. But I'm just saying, it's a journey based also on where you are. I in Europe, for example, for small company can be more difficult than UK to find services, and it's the same for offices. Depends on where you are based, but also as a culture for what you are advertising and what you are trying to push. I do suggest that you keep in mind the 360 degrees of a topic also in terms of cash flow. Uh, we don't realize how many companies pay at 30, 60 days. That means cash flow. You need to think about these problems. And sometimes we do have the idea that we can also have mm, a gig economy approach, even if you are doing a good consulting in terms of taking a small project in the meantime, but the market is changing. Now, a lot of are giving you projects that match the season. When it's summer, they leave you at home and they don't take the contractor. So you need to consider also this cash flow, the problem with the type of contract based on your country. Consider everything is obviously accountancy related, also in terms of taxes. And this is a journey. What I learned in the last 3 months worth a real university course, in my opinion. And be smart. Try to stay in an environment where you can have people more experienced than you explain your things. That's the reason, for example, why I decided to stay in certain places and listen to others and understand their experience. And that's the reason why I'm doing this video too, to give a value back and tell you what could be some difficulties that you could have that are not difficulties in terms road blocker, are for sure things that you need to keep in mind. So structure, my suggestion is structure whatever you do in a specific area, trying to understand cash flow problem, trying to understand how you see your company growing and in which direction. Do you want to be a one-man band in terms of being a contractor, or you want to create a brand? Create a brand is extremely difficult. I can witness that. And it's part of having a differentiator as value. Mine is be technical, be capable to give measurable output and be capable to explain the reasoning behind and give a sort of consulting that is extremely specialized. That is my differentiator, and you can find that level of details more in the artisan small boutique than the big shop. And that is what I'm pointing to. Be different, be yourself, but be smart to consider this conversation and avoid all these trendy LinkedIn posts that I keep seeing that where everything looks fantastic. It's not, it's life. You need to work hard, and sometimes it means not have that quality uh, balance of life. You need to work hard, and it's hard work, and I love it. And it's the reason that keep me motivated to go. And it's 25 years that I'm passionate about what I do. So nothing will change that. But I want to tell you, stay strong, stay wise, and check the conversation on every degree. Cash flow, it's a big one. You are always happy when you do an invoice. You are way more happy when you get paid. And it's not so simple to understand the cash flow. So it's a journey as well. I will keep you posted. I hope you found useful this kind of information, and like and subscribe. As you see, it's not sponsor my company. You see a lot of things that I did also as a project that are actually for free and without any kind of return. I have a good following number of subscribers that I thank for that, but I don't get paid for due to the amount of video that I did and number of hours. So there is no economical purpose for this video. I just want to really follow my principle that is sharing is caring. Stay strong. Take it easy. Cheers.